All right, picture this. While folks in Europe were still figuring out how to aim a crossbow, there was an African emperor so incredibly wealthy, his caravan literally crashed the gold market in Cairo just by passing through. Seriously, it cost a decade of inflation. Still think African history is just a story of masks and drums? Think again. Stick around, because in the next 15 minutes, you're about to get 100 mind-blowing bite-sized facts that prove the real superpower playbook. The one for building empires, mastering strategy, and accumulating unimaginable wealth was written right here on the savannas, deserts, and bustling coasts of this continent centuries before any colonial ship dropped anchor. No filler, no fluff, just the raw, undeniable strategies that transformed humble villages into formidable empires and turned ordinary warriors into enduring legends. Let's roll. Section 1. Military Genius and Conquest. Fact 1. The Ghana Empire had a golden rule, and it wasn't just about the precious metal. It was about owning the gold mines and, crucially, the wells. Control the lifeblood of the desert, and you control everything that moves through it. That's how you dominate trade and secure your future. Fact 2. The Ghana's war camels weren't just transport, they were strategic assets. These beasts could chug 90 miles through the scorching desert without needing a single drop of water. Their enemies, on foot or with less resilient mounts, often had that kind of stamina, often succumbing to the harsh environment before even reaching battle. Fact 3. When the king of Ghana wanted absolute silence in his court, he didn't need to shout. He simply lifted his bow. According to tradition, the first man to speak after that silent gesture would face execution. Talk about a powerful way to command respect and order, wouldn't you say? Fact 4. Mali's formidable cavalry wasn't just about brute force. They wore quilted armor soaked in salt water. This ingenious design made it lighter than European chainmail, provided superior protection against arrows, and was significantly cooler than heavy leather in the unforgiving heat. A true innovation in battlefield gear. Fact 5. At the pivotal Battle of Carina, Sundiata Keita's javelin men employed a terrifyingly effective tactic. They aimed specifically for the horse's eyes. Blind a mount, and you don't just dismount a rider, you break the entire cavalry charge, turning a coordinated assault into chaos. Fact 6. Sundiata, the legendary founder of the Mali Empire, also fought on a buffalo hide. His enemies, witnessing him seemingly glide across the sand, were convinced he was a powerful magician. This brilliant piece of psychological warfare demoralized his foes and bolstered the morale of his own troops. Fact 7. The Songhai Empire, master of the Niger River, utilized a sophisticated navy of pirogue catamarans. These weren't just simple canoes. They were two canoes lashed together, providing incredible stability for riverine warfare and transport. This allowed them to control vast stretches of waterways, turning the river into a highway for power. Fact 8. Askia the Great, the visionary ruler of Songhai, issued metal identity tags to every single soldier in his professional army. Think of them as early dog tags, but from the 1500s. This level of organization was unheard of for its time, ensuring accountability and efficient troop management. Fact 9. His river flotilla wasn't just for transport, it was a mobile siege engine. They carried portable mangonels, catapults, that could be assembled and ready for action in a blistering 90 seconds flat. Imagine the tactical advantage of being able to deploy heavy artillery with such speed. Fact 10. Ethiopian Highlanders were masters of guerrilla warfare. They perfected the rolling ambush, a cunning tactic where they would feign retreat uphill, drawing their enemies into difficult terrain, only to swiftly wheel around and strike with lances, turning a chase into a deadly trap. Fact 11. The Adal Sultanate, in a strategic alliance, acquired matchlock guns from the Ottoman Empire. This made their musketeers some of the first recorded forces to utilize firearms south of the Sahara, giving them a significant, albeit temporary, technological edge in regional conflicts. Fact 12. Imam Ahmed Garay, a brilliant military leader, famously used night raids during the holy month of Ramadan. His Christian foes, assuming a lull in hostilities during dawn prayers, would lower their guard, only to be caught completely off guard by his swift and merciless attacks, a truly audacious strategy. Fact 13. Benin's army didn't just march, they moved to the complex rhythms of talking drums. Officers were so highly trained that they could interpret intricate rhythm patterns to understand terrain, troop movements, and battlefield commands, creating a highly coordinated and silent communication network. Fact 14. The city walls of Benin were an engineering marvel, stretching an astonishing 16,000 kilometers. To put that in perspective, at the time, they were longer than the Great Wall of China. These colossal fortifications were a testament to Benin's power and defensive capabilities, protecting its vast and wealthy capital. Fact 15. Dahome's legendary female regiment, the Mino, were not just warriors, they were an elite fighting force. They were so disciplined and skilled that they could reload their muskets while sprinting into battle. Europeans witnessing their ferocity dubbed them the Black Amazons. Fact 16. Each Mino warrior took an oath of celibacy, dedicating their lives entirely to the king and the kingdom. Breaking this sacred oath carried a horrific penalty. Both lovers faced the king's red-hot machete. This extreme discipline ensured unwavering loyalty and focus. Fact 17. Oyo Empire's cavalry bred small, agile horses specifically designed to dart under the high savanna grass. This unique adaptation allowed them to move with incredible stealth, ambushing unsuspecting enemies from seemingly nowhere. It was stealth mode on hooves, long before anyone conceived of such a thing. Fact 18. Oyo generals didn't just issue orders, they held a war parliament. Crucial military decisions were debated and discussed among high-ranking officers, and the debate only concluded when the commander cracked a cola nut, signaling the final, unified decision. A sophisticated approach to military leadership. Fact 19. The fearsome Zulu bullhorn formation, a three-pronged attack strategy comprising the chest, horns, and loins, demanded incredible physical prowess. Young boys were required to run 20 miles barefoot daily, forging the stamina and resilience needed for this devastating battlefield maneuver. Fact 20. Shaka Zulu, the iconic leader, revolutionized warfare by shortening the traditional throwing spears into the deadly iklua. This thrusting spear transformed close-quarter combat, striking terror into the hearts of his neighbors and earning him a fearsome reputation. Fact 21. Nubian archers were not only renowned for their skill, but also for their deadly secret weapon. They dipped their iron arrow points in a potent mix of snake venom and castor oil. A single scratch from these poisoned arrows could lead to a slow, agonizing death, adding a psychological dimension to their attacks. Fact 22. Kushite pharaohs deployed archers on chariots, but with a unique twist. Their chariots were pulled by oxen. While slower than horse-drawn chariots, these robust teams were virtually unstoppable in muddy or difficult terrain, providing stable platforms for archers to rain down arrows. Fact 23. The Kanem Bornu Empire's cavalry was a sight to behold, often clad in chainmail imported across the Sahara. What's truly remarkable is that some of this armor was famously passed down through generations, with 500-year-old hand-me-downs still offering effective protection on the battlefield. Fact 24. The Kanem Empire's trumpeters rode side saddle, a peculiar posture that ensured their lips remained free to sound critical commands. Their horses, incredibly, were trained to gallop and maneuver based solely on voice cues, demonstrating an extraordinary level of animal training and battlefield coordination. Fact 25. In the Kanem Empire, losing your horse wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a serious offense. You were required to pay the king a foal as a tax, a powerful incentive for every soldier to guard their mount with their life, recognizing its critical role in both warfare and prestige. Section 2. Political administration. Fact 26. The Ghana Empire wasn't just a military powerhouse, it was a political innovator. The king governed through a sophisticated council of elders, with each elder representing a specific clan. This system acted as a proto-federalism, ensuring that diverse groups had a voice and stake in the empire's administration, long before European states conceived of such models. Fact 27. Succession in Ghana didn't follow the typical father-to-son model. Instead, it passed to the king's sister's son. This matrilineal system had a brilliant strategic purpose. It kept the royal bloodlines undeniably traceable and ensured stability by minimizing disputes over paternity and legitimacy. Fact 28. The vast Mali Empire was expertly managed by dividing the realm into provinces, each overseen by a powerful administrator known as a farba. These farbas were responsible for raising troops, collecting grain, and maintaining order, serving as the decentralized backbone of a highly centralized state. Fact 29. To keep track of all this administration, Mali had an advanced bureaucracy. Farba reports and other official documents were meticulously written on paper made from rice stalks. That's right, Mali had functioning paper mills and a thriving literary culture centuries before Gutenberg invented the printing press in Europe.
Fact 30. Mansa Musa's legendary pilgrimage to Mecca wasn't just a religious journey, it was a masterclass in soft power and economic display. His budget for the trip alone reputedly equaled half the gross domestic product of every single Italian city-state combined. Imagine that kind of wealth and influence.
Fact 31. Upon his return, Mansa Musa didn't just bring back tales, he brought back knowledge. He hired brilliant Andalusian architects to construct magnificent libraries in Timbuktu. These weren't just buildings, they were centers of learning, offering what amounted to free public access to knowledge, a 14th century version of public Wi-Fi for scholars. Fact 32. The Songhai Empire, under Askia the Great, implemented a remarkably progressive tax code. It had 4 distinct brackets: farmers, fishermen, traders, and herders. This nuanced system, tailored to different economic activities, was a form of progressive taxation avant la lettre, ensuring fairness and efficient revenue collection. Fact 33. Askia the Great also understood the importance of justice. He ensured his judges were well-versed in Maliki law and, crucially, paid them state salaries. This established the first salaried judiciary in the Sahel, guaranteeing their independence and professionalizing the legal system. Fact 34. The Ethiopian emperors skillfully used the ancient Solomonic myth, the belief that their lineage traced back to King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, to solidify their rule. This divine right of kings kept ambitious nobles from open revolt, providing a powerful and enduring source of political legitimacy. Fact 35. The stunning castles of Gondar, Ethiopia, weren't just beautiful, they were engineered for resilience. They were built by alternating layers of stone with flexible teak wood. These ingenious flexible joints allowed the structures to withstand the region's occasional earthquakes, a testament to ancient architectural foresight. Fact 36. The Swahili city-states along the East African coast operated with a unique form of governance. They elected a Mueni Mkuu, or chief, but his power wasn't absolute. A council of influential imams held the authority to depose him if the vital trade economy dipped too severely. Talk about accountability to the bottom line. Fact 37. The Lozi Kingdom of Southern Africa had a truly remarkable annual ceremony called Kuemboka. When the plains flooded, the king literally moved his entire palace onto a massive barge sailing to higher ground. This wasn't just a spectacle, it was a symbolic and practical act of resilience, demonstrating the king's connection to his people and the land. Fact 38. In Buganda, the prime minister, known as the Katikiro, held significant power. He could even veto decisions made by the Kabaka, the king, by simply hiding the royal drum. Without the drum, no royal pronouncements could be made, effectively halting the king's agenda, a clever ancient check and balance.
Fact 39.
The Ashanti king's power was intrinsically linked to the sacred golden stool. No stool, no kingdom. It was the ultimate symbol of their sovereignty. Oath breakers weren't just executed. They were strangled with silk cords to avoid spilling royal blood, highlighting the deep spiritual significance of their rule.
Fact 40. Queen Amina of Zazzau, a formidable warrior queen, employed an innovative strategy for consolidating her conquests. In every city she conquered, she ordered the construction of massive earthen walls. This wasn't just defense, it was urban planning as a form of colonization, securing her control and integrating new territories into her growing empire.
Fact 41. The Marina rulers in Madagascar were agricultural innovators. They built extensive irrigated rice terraces, creating a massive surplus of food. This economic stability allowed them to fund and maintain a powerful standing army of 20,000 soldiers, transforming agricultural prosperity into military might. Fact 42. The Mossi Emperor's court communicated in a highly sophisticated and subtle manner, often speaking in proverbs. For outsiders, this meant they missed half the policy and political nuances. Locals, however, understood it perfectly, effectively creating a form of encrypted communication in plain sight. Fact 43. The Congo Kingdom had a fascinating dual monarchy. The Monic Congo ruled alongside a powerful female co-regent called the Mfatila. This wasn't just symbolic. It was a genuine gender-balanced cabinet, ensuring diverse perspectives and shared leadership in the highest echelons of power. Fact 44. The Kuba kings were required to retire after a reign of just 7 years. This established term limits long before they became a staple of modern democratic governance, ensuring fresh leadership and preventing the concentration of power for too long. Fact 45. If the Kuba Council found themselves in a deadlock, unable to reach a consensus, they had a unique solution. They would physically lock the king in his hut until an agreement was reached. It was an early form of filibuster, forcing deliberation and ensuring collective decision-making in plain sight. Section 3. Economic Strategy and Trade. Fact 46. The Ghana Empire had a remarkably clever way to tax gold, the silent bar. The king claimed the nugget while the trader kept the gold dust. No words were exchanged, minimizing disputes and ensuring a steady flow of wealth to the royal coffers. It was efficient, effective, and avoided unnecessary conflict. Fact 47. Mali's Mansa Musa, with his vast empire, controlled an astonishing half of the world's gold supply. European maps of the era, reflecting this immense power, often depicted him holding a golden scepter, a clear acknowledgement of his unprecedented economic dominance. Fact 48. Timbuktu wasn't just a city, it was an intellectual and economic hub. Its bustling book trade rivaled the legendary profits of the Silk Road. In fact, in Timbuktu, paper often cost more per kilo than gold, a testament to the immense value placed on knowledge and scholarship. Fact 49. The Songhai Empire, ever innovative, issued copper tokens stamped with the Askia seal. This wasn't just a novelty, it was a proto-currency, widely accepted on both banks of the Niger River, standardizing trade and facilitating economic exchange across its vast territories. Fact 50. The Swahili city-states were global traders, evidenced by the fact that they minted their own silver dirhams. Coins from these coastal cities have been discovered as far away as Australia, hinting at extensive long-distance trade routes that historians are still actively researching and debating today. Fact 51. In Ethiopia,
Coffee beans, a precious commodity, were traded for salt bars. This unique barter system saw one coffee bean exchanged for one salt brick, providing both a vital stimulant and essential electrolytes in a region where salt was a rare and valuable resource.
Fact 52. The ancient kingdom of Axum, a major trading power, minted coins that carried Greek inscriptions. This wasn't just an artistic choice, it was a savvy marketing strategy aimed directly at Mediterranean tourists and traders, making their currency recognizable and trusted in international markets, 300 AD style. Fact 53. The legendary trans-Saharan salt caravans, vital arteries of trade, often paid their tolls in dates. For the hardy camel drivers, these dates weren't just currency, they were their primary sustenance, serving as energy bars that kept them going for months across the unforgiving desert. Fact 54. When Mansa Musa famously passed through Cairo, he wasn't shy about his wealth. He tipped generously with 500 dinar gold dust, unleashing so much gold into the local economy that it caused significant price inflation that lasted for over a decade. His generosity literally reshaped a regional economy. Fact 55. Benin's exquisite ivory masks were not carved on a whim. They were crafted only during full moons. This deliberate strategy of artificial scarcity ensured that these precious artworks remained rare and highly desirable, driving their prices sky-high in the international market. Fact 56. If an Ashanti trader dared to break a deal, it wasn't just a legal matter. The chief would perform a ritual, pouring libation and publicly cursing the trader's canoe. This powerful spiritual sanction acted as a divine Better Business Bureau, ensuring honesty and integrity in commerce. Fact 57. The Kingdom of Loango, another savvy economic power, used standard lengths of cloth strips as its currency. This textile-based system was remarkably stable and immune to the kind of rapid inflation that could plague metal currencies, providing a reliable medium of exchange. Fact 58. Somali merchants, known for their sharp business acumen, kept their complex ledgers and accounts not on paper, but in intricate ledger songs. These detailed records, sung in rhyme, were virtually impossible to forge without a perfect musical ear and memory, ensuring the integrity of their transactions. Fact 59. In Kanem, horses weren't just transport or war animals, they were a form of high-value currency. One prime stallion could be exchanged for 40 slaves, or perhaps even more significantly, for a governor's loyalty. This highlights their immense strategic and economic importance. Fact 60. If the Bornu Empire lost a war, it didn't pay indemnities in gold or silver. Instead, it strategically paid in livestock. This cattle diplomacy saved them from depleting their monetary reserves, allowing them to rebuild their wealth while still fulfilling their obligations. Section 4. Architecture and Engineering. Fact 61. The iconic Great Zimbabwe, a major art engineering, boasts massive walls built entirely without mortar. Instead, colossal granite blocks were meticulously cut and balanced with such sheer precision that they've stood for centuries, defying gravity and the elements. It's a true testament to their mastery of dry stone masonry. Fact 62. Within the great enclosure of Zimbabwe stands a 33-foot-tall conical tower. While its exact purpose remains debated, the absence of any burial inside suggests it wasn't a tomb, but rather a powerful royal symbol, perhaps representing the abundance of grain or the king's authority.
Fact 63. The builders of Great Zimbabwe incorporated an ingenious acoustic design into their walls. Certain sections created acoustic dead spots, essentially whisper zones, where kings and their advisors could plot and strategize in complete privacy without fear of eavesdroppers. Imagine the political intrigue. Fact 64. The breathtaking rock-hewn churches of Lalibela, Ethiopia, were carved directly out of living rock.
This monumental undertaking took an estimated 24 years of continuous labor, with masons working day and night shifts, often aligning the structures with celestial bodies. It's a testament to incredible faith and engineering prowess. Fact 65. The formidable Benin Moat, a crucial defensive feature of the city, was an immense undertaking. It was dug by forced labor, with the excavated earth then used to build ramparts that towered higher than a double-decker bus. This massive earthwork created an almost impenetrable barrier around the city. Fact 66. The Nubian pyramids at Meroe, while smaller than their Egyptian counterparts, feature much steeper angles, a striking 55 degrees compared to Egypt's 51. This wasn't just an aesthetic choice, it allowed for the use of cheaper, smaller stones and a faster build time, making pyramid construction more efficient. Fact 67. Timbuktu's Sankore University wasn't just a few classrooms, it was a sprawling academic complex that housed an estimated 25,000 students. Its lecture halls were constructed from a unique mud-chalk mixture that naturally cooled the interiors at night, providing a comfortable learning environment in the desert heat. Fact 68. The magnificent Grand Mosque of Jen isn't just a building, it's a living monument. It requires replastering every single year, a tradition that transforms into a massive community festival where the entire town participates in a synchronized bucket brigade, meticulously maintaining their sacred structure. Fact 69. Gao's royal palace featured innovative rooftop gardens lush with date palms. These weren't just for aesthetics, they served a practical purpose, naturally cooling the rooms below by a remarkable 10 degrees, providing a sophisticated form of ancient air conditioning. Fact 70. The Swahili houses along the coast were surprisingly advanced. Many included coral stone latrines that were ingeniously flushed by the incoming and outgoing tides. This was eco-plumbing before plumbing was even a widespread concept, demonstrating remarkable foresight in sanitation. Fact 71. In the harsh desert climate, Kanem's fortresses employed ingenious wind towers. These structures acted as natural air conditioners, funneling cool breezes into the throne rooms and living quarters, making the sweltering desert heat far more bearable for its inhabitants. Fact 72. Ethiopian engineers developed sophisticated suspension bridges woven from plaited bamboo. These lightweight yet incredibly strong structures could span vast gorges in just 3 days. Crucially, they could also be quickly dismantled when enemy forces approached, denying them passage. Fact 73. Ashanti Kent cloth, renowned for its intricate patterns and vibrant colors, required 2 skilled weavers working in perfect unison on a single loom. This wasn't just about efficiency, it was about teamwork and collaboration, engineered directly into the creation of every silk strip. Fact 74. The Luba Kingdom used Lukasa beadboards not just as art, but as a sophisticated method of mapping territory and recording historical events. These 3-dimensional memory aids served as a kind of ancient geographical information system on wood, preserving complex data. Fact 75. In Buganda, quality assurance had a unique, almost spiritual component. If a builder misaligned a royal hut, they faced a rather poetic punishment. They had to sleep directly under the crooked beam. It was a powerful incentive for precision, ensuring craftsmanship through a touch of karma. Section 5. Legendary leaders and their tactics. Fact 76. Sundiata Keita, the future founder of the Mali Empire, couldn't walk as a child, a disability that initially brought him ridicule. But at 7, in a legendary display of sheer will, he lifted an iron bar, straightening his legs. This wasn't just a personal triumph, it was a powerful psychological flex over his rivals and a clear sign of his destiny. Fact 77. Mansa Musa's legendary pilgrimage to Mecca wasn't merely a religious journey. It was a meticulously planned public relations tour. He took 80 camels, each laden with hundreds of pounds of gold, showcasing his empire's unimaginable wealth to the entire known world. It was a display of power that would still be trending on medieval Twitter centuries later. Fact 78. Askia the Great, a brilliant political strategist, didn't just seize power by ousting a minor ruler. He then held a highly publicized and meticulously orchestrated public trial to legitimize his coup. This shrewd move ensured popular support and cemented his authority in the eyes of his people and neighboring states.
Fact 79. Sunni Ali, the founder of the Songhai Empire, was a master of unconventional warfare. He famously sailed into cities at dusk, knowing that enemy gates would be shut for evening prayers. Exploiting this routine, he would often disembark and walk right in, catching defenders completely off guard and securing swift victories. Fact 80. Queen Amina of Zazao was a formidable warrior who spent an astonishing 34 years on continuous campaign, expanding her empire. Legend has it that she never married, preferring to take a new lover from her conquered foes each night, only to behead him at dawn. Talk about a fierce and uncompromising leader. Fact 81. Nzinga of Ndongo, a brilliant and defiant queen, refused to be intimidated by the Portuguese governors. When they offered her only a mat to sit on during negotiations, implying lesser status, she had one of her servants kneel and she sat on their shoulders, ensuring she met the Europeans at eye level. A powerful display of diplomatic assertiveness.
Fact 82. Queen Nzinga was also a pragmatist. She famously converted to Catholicism, not out of deep religious conviction, but as a calculated move to secure vital arms and military support from the Portuguese. For her, faith was a tool of foreign policy, a means to an end in protecting her people. Fact 83. Shaka Zulu instilled an iron discipline in his army. He formed age regiments, and if a young warrior cried during the brutal initiation process, it wasn't just a personal failure. His entire village was fined a cow, ensuring collective responsibility and fostering an unbreakable spirit of stoicism. Fact 84. Emperor Menelik II of Ethiopia was a visionary who understood the power of modern technology. He strategically imported Hotchkiss guns, advanced repeating rifles, which gave his forces a decisive advantage. In the legendary Battle of Adwa, just 80 of these rifles helped beat an Italian army of 10,000, securing Ethiopia's independence.
Fact 85. Samori Toure, a West African resistance leader, was a master of self-reliance. He established a sophisticated foundry in Bisandugu, where his people ingeniously forged their own rifles. This local manufacturing capability allowed him to keep the French colonial forces at bay for an incredible 16 years. Fact 86. Ya Asantewa, the courageous queen mother of the Ashanti, didn't just inspire her people, she led them directly into battle. During the War of the Golden Stool, she famously fired the first shot herself, a powerful symbol of gender equality in combat, and an act that rallied her people against British colonial aggression. Fact 87. Sechewewo Kampande, the last independent Zulu king, employed a shrewd political strategy, splitting his kingdom into 41 chiefdoms. This divide-and-rule tactic, ironically, was aimed at preventing any single chief from becoming too powerful, demonstrating a nuanced understanding of internal political dynamics. Fact 88. Emperor Behenzin of Dahomey, facing imminent French colonial occupation, chose a defiant act of scorched earth. Rather than allow the French to profit from his kingdom's wealth, he ordered the burning of vast palm groves, destroying a key economic resource. It was a stark warning, a strategy of resistance before it was a textbook concept.
Fact 89. Emperor Tewodros II of Ethiopia made a dramatic, if ultimately disastrous, diplomatic move by chaining British envoys.
This hostage situation, while intended to gain leverage, backfired spectacularly, leading to a British military expedition. But it certainly made headlines and ensured Ethiopia was not ignored on the global stage. Fact 90. Haile Selassie, the Emperor of Ethiopia, made history in 1936 by speaking passionately at the League of Nations, pleading for international intervention against the Italian invasion. He was the first African monarch to address such a global diplomatic body, setting a precedent for African engagement in world affairs. Quick breather. If these facts are totally rewiring your brain and making you rethink everything you thought you knew, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. That way the algorithm knows to show the next generation what their history textbooks criminally skipped. Seriously, let's get this information out there. Ready? Good. Back to it. Section 6. Strategic Legacy and Modern Parallels. Fact 91. The ancient Ghana Empire's system of tax checkpoints, strategically placed along vital trade routes, became a foundational model. Today, these very same routes are often home to modern ECOWAS border posts, demonstrating a remarkable continuity of trade and governance, just with new flags flying overhead. Fact 92. The administrative structure of Mali, with its powerful provincial governors, or farbas, was so effective that it actually inspired French colonial administrators. In a twist of historical irony, the colonial powers often mimicked the very systems they sought to dismantle, showcasing a profound colonial mimicry in reverse. Fact 93. The Songhai Empire's sophisticated river navy and its logistical prowess on the Niger River can be seen as a precursor to modern operations. Their ability to patrol and manage vast waterways prefigured current UN peacekeeping patrols on the Niger, albeit today's gunboats come with slightly better Wi-Fi.
Fact 94. The effective guerrilla tactics employed by Ethiopian forces against Italian invaders proved to be a lasting lesson. These strategies directly influenced the Mau Mau forest fighters in Kenya, who adopted similar irregular warfare playbooks in their own struggle against colonial rule. Same highlands, same timeless tactics. Fact 95. South Africa's post-apartheid constitution, a beacon of modern democracy, famously borrowed the idea of council consensus from the ancient Kuba kings. This demonstrates how indigenous African governance philosophies continued to influence contemporary political structures, proving that filibuster diplomacy truly lives on. Fact 96. China's massive infrastructure deals across Africa today, often involving resource extraction in exchange for development, echo a much older economic pattern. They strikingly mirror the ancient salt-for-gold swaps of trans-Saharan trade, creating modern resource corridors with updated currencies and global players. Fact 97. Djibouti, a small but strategically vital nation, currently rents drone bases to both the United States and China. This makes it a modern-day equivalent of an ancient toll gate, collecting caravan tolls on incredibly important geostrategic trade routes and maritime choke points. Fact 98. Rwanda's highly successful National Community Service Day, Umuganda, where citizens collectively work on public projects, has deep historical roots. It directly echoes Ghana's ancient tradition of communal labor, showcasing a powerful and enduring form of governance through civic duty and collective responsibility. Fact 99. The impressive headquarters of the African Union stands proudly in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. This location is no accident. It sits on land where Axumite envoys once traded frankincense and engaged in sophisticated diplomacy centuries ago. It's a powerful symbol of the continuity of diplomatic real estate and African agency. Fact 100. From Mansa Musa's dramatic gold-induced inflation in 14th century Cairo to today's global oil price shocks originating from the continent, Africa has always and continues to move global markets. As the saying goes, history doesn't repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes. So there you have it, 100 undeniable proofs that African empires weren't some forgotten side note in the grand sweep of human history. No, they were headline acts, brilliantly scripting the rules of politics, mastering the art of war, and accumulating unimaginable wealth and power. They innovated, they built, they governed, and they resisted. Next time someone tries to tell you that power only speaks Greek or Latin, or that strategic genius was born solely in Europe, you'll know better. Send them this video. History class, frankly, is officially out of excuses. If you learned something truly new today, something that genuinely shifted your perspective, then please share this with a friend, that one person who still thinks Africa was just waiting to be discovered. Drop a comment below and tell me which fact absolutely blew your mind the hardest. And I'll see you in the next Untold Story.